Hello students, welcome to week 1. When you go into your modules, you will see a modular structure that's going to be the same for every single week. There will be a title at the top which gives you the date of that module, a little snippet about the topics that are going to be covered, and maybe some important announcement that I would not want you to miss. For example, no lab this week. Every module has an overview, video instruction details, materials and resources, to-do list, wrap up. So here, the important thing for you to do is to peek into the overview to see what we are going to cover, and then to jump into watching the videos. The videos are entitled Must Watch, which means all your instruction is pretty much contained in these mini videos. And the video lectures also follow a certain format. So for example, in every module, the lecture video 1 would cover the module overview and this week's overview of the topic. So this is for this particular module, which is module 1. Week 2 will not have the module overview because that's done already, but it will have an overview of that week's topics. And then you will go to the subsequent lectures, which will go into detail on each of the topics that are going to be covered that particular week. Some of these videos are have been created by me. There may be a couple which are from the Building Java program website, which I pointed out to you in the welcome video. But most of the content is something that I wish to give to you to make your conceptual understanding, your lab work, and your programming assignments and your exam preparation easy for you to do and to make you successful in the class. In addition to this, when you go into your lab Canvas course, you will also see a video on a supporting video on how you can get started with your lab and some frequently asked questions, etc. So that is also going to be available, but it's not in the Canvas discussion section. It's going to be in the lab section. Another video that you will likely find is when a programming assignment has been given to you. For example, let's say in week 4, there's a programming assignment 1, which is assigned to you. Then you will see a video that supports some of the, and provides some of the techniques that will help you to get started on your programming assignment and some frequently asked questions. So let's go to the module overview here. When you click on this, what you will see is when you click on the module overview and topics in the lecture video 1, you will go onto a page which gives a link to this video and also gives links to all of the PowerPoint slides and examples that have been used in this particular video. So a lot of information is here in these pages that contain the video links. So let's get started with the module overview. So what we propose to cover in module 1 is basic programming principles, which are the good concepts that you have covered in CSE 15. We will also be covering classes and objects that we have gotten used to using, but we don't actually think about them as classes. For example, the math class, the character class, the integer class, the string class, scanner class, and so on. We also have, we'll be covering arrays, and we will be covering user-defined classes. So let's go and see what we are going to be doing with programming principles. For programming principles, we will cover documentation, we will cover robustness and modularity. And this is in week 1. The second topic we will be covering in this module is classes and objects as given by Java. String class and random class will be covered in week 1. Scanner and files in week 2. Exceptions in week 3. Please note that there is a method to this madness. The reason why some of these topics are covered in this order is because when you go into week 2, you will be needing to do a lab, and this is kind of scaffolding practice and review for you to get on top of your lab. So exceptions are not needed for your lab, and that's why they will be covered in week 3, not in week 2. You will be using scanner, files, and string and random for your lab in week 2, and therefore these topics are going to be covered in week 1 and week 2. With arrays, we are going to be doing 1 and 2 dimensional arrays and arrays of objects, and that again is in week 2 because we'll be using this in the lab, so you get a good practice for that. And then we will move on to our user-defined classes, which is we as programmers, when we create classes, you have already done this in chapter 8 in CSE 15, but I understand that some students might be coming in from other places and they may be new to the book, but for those of you that are coming from CSE 15, this is what we will be reviewing from chapter 8. And as you know, arrays is from chapter 7. For those of you who are familiar with building Java programs, random classes in chapter 5, files are in chapter 6, and scanner, I believe, is in chapter 3, and exceptions also. So a lot of this stuff is something that you have done in CSE 15. So, but this is a review, so everyone's on the same playing field. So I will stop here. That's the end of this review video, and then you can move on to lecture video